This week in disc golf, Ricky has an encore performance at the dgpt championship. Big time Missy earns her nickname yet again. The FPO action saw players nearly come to blows. The offseason officially kicks off, and so much more. It's Swiss Cheese with the disc golf world. You guys already know, the one with all the holes in his game. You are watching This Week in Disc Golf, where I provide the humor takes on all things disc golf from the past week. And guess what? I'm officially back home and sleeping now in my bed. If you haven't already, make sure to go and check out our interview with Dylan Cease. The professional White Sox pitcher discusses his partnership with Macbeth and his 2 disc golf properties. Enough wasting time, let's jump into what's pumped as the biggest event of the season, the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. The new structure changes, stroke advantages, and the final being 2 rounds were well received by the bulk of the community and played out with relative success. Just not in front of many fans, as the turnout was one of the lowest on the season. Not sure if it's the USDGC hangover, ticket pricing, or what many said was a poor fan experience on the course the year prior. Either way, when we arrived on day 1, it felt like we were crashing a private party instead of attending a sporting event. And it's a shame, as the course looked better than it ever had due to all the volunteers, and the action featuring the best in the game was great. In the MPO side of the championship, the field was tight and featured many candidates who could take down the event in the 40 grand. Player of the Year candidates in points leader Kelvin Heimberg, 2-time major winner in a season I might add in Isaac Robinson, or should I just say world champion? And let's not forget the defending champion and interview snub Ricky Wysocki. That wound is still fresh, Rick. You cut me deep. Or how about the hottest player at the moment, USDGC winner Kyle Klein? Kelvin started off strong, taking a 5-stroke lead and having the hot round by 2 strokes, pretty much guaranteeing his position in the finals. Klein and Isaac, apart from looking like characters on 7th Heaven, were tied after round 1, sitting at 8 down, as Kyle shot a 5 down and Isaac shot a 3 down. Round 2 kicked off, as it would be a matter of time to see who would make the cut of the top 12 MPO players. Most of the players at the top, in control of the round, sat back and relaxed, making sure not to take a big number that could cost them the biggest payout of the season. And if there's a complaint on the new structure, this just might be it for me. I want the best in the game looking to score, not coasting to the next round. And with all the drama of who would make the cut falling to the lower seeds, the best performers got little coverage on day 2. And I want the exact opposite. Maybe keep the structure and add payouts for those in the lead after the second day. Vinny put together a 16 under total, easily advancing to the final, with a surging Ricky who with a 6 under on day 2 moved up to second, not that it would really matter as the scores washed. Cole Redolin, Isaac, Kyle, Eagle McMahon, Joel Freeman, and Ezra Robinson made it to the semis with relative ease. Pressure moments came after Gannon Burr, who needed to answer strongly after his 1-over round on day 1 that put him on the cut line. Needed every one of his 6 birdies on day 2 to advance to the final. Each drive, each putt could be the difference between life-changing money here at this point in time, seeing the players being squeezed by their expectations to make the final cut. And for some, the joy of accomplishing that feat, and for others, the heartbreak. Add the fact that everyone who advanced has an equal chance at the 40 grand, only adds to the atmosphere and brings real emotions to the game. Fans witnessed James Proctor go bogey on the final 2 holes to put himself outside the cut line. To make it worse, he missed a circle's edge putt on the final hole for par. Proctor is 90% from C1X, second overall in the field, and had been draining putts all weekend as well as the season. Had he made that putt, he would advance and would be at least $4,000 richer. An absolute brutal exit to an otherwise great and undermentioned season for Proctor. As much as the structure creates the lows, it has its highs. Adam Hammer's, after going 3 over on round 1, knew he would need to put together a course record to advance. Adam was able to put together a bogey-free round, 1066 rated 8 down after an insane par save on 18, but out of position he makes the putting green, and still hits a crucial putt with a double-fisted pump on the end. The round found him tied with Nicholas Antola for the final 2 spots, turning the excitement over to the final 2 days. Ricky made sure to keep up with all the excitement the following day, as he went on to beat Adam's course record the next day, 2 strokes better with a 10 down, even with a bogey. He birdied 8 holes in a row at one point to finish his round with a 1073 rating, giving himself a 3-stroke lead over recently crowned U.S. champ Kyle Klein. Guys, just to put it into perspective, that 10 under finished lower than 9 of the 12 finalists, 2 rounds combined. It was an absolute historic round on a hard track. Adam with a horrendous start going 2 over through 5, pulled it together later, rattling off 8 birdies in a row, finished his round 5 under in 3rd place. Most impressive was the restraint not to slam his phone into the ground. Rare that we see that amount of control out of most of the MPO players. The final round is what the season had built up. Last 18 holes for the biggest payout in disc golf history. And even with a solid Ricky lead, fans were able to witness plenty of errors at Nevin turning into double or triple bogeys quickly, but at no point was any lead comfortable. It wasn't until Ricky birdied the first 3 holes, one with a highlight stretched out knee putt, mind you, and with Ricky being such a momentum player, and even with this small crowd, still got the atmosphere amped with his play. Even with Eagle going 6 down through the front 9, and also a surging Vinny who would finish with a hot round on the day, moving to a podium finish. Rick was still in control. That wasn't until hole 6 and 7 when he not only double bogeyed, followed that up with another bogey. Kyle managed 3 birdies of his own, now going into hole 8, tied with Ricky for first place. Both would birdie 8, but Rick and his aggressive play would pay off. He went on to birdieing the next 3 holes, taking now a 2-stroke lead over Klein. They both would play great disc golf, and even with the lead, Ricky was pulling away for what seemed for good. Difficult not to feel that way when he's burying 75-foot putts, for Christ's sake. Oh yeah, that Eagle round that I got you excited about ended up turning disastrous as he went 6 over on the back half, 5 of which came on the last 3 holes. We did have some excitement down the stretch, though, on the final hole, and Ricky threw his approach deep into the woods, taking birdie out of contention and a possible bogey potential. Klein lined up for a long shot to try and reach the green for a birdie look, which would put pressure on Ricky on his next throw. Yet only Vinny and Ricky were able to score a birdie on that hole prior. Unfortunately, Kyle would not have the flex to come back at the end, resulting in an OB throw and a bogey, giving Ricky back-to-back Tour Championship wins, the biggest check in disc golf history. Yes, and that monster of a blue trophy also. On the FPO side, the stroke advantage, along with tight woods of Nevin Park, making scoring minimal for players, it essentially pushed the top 3 point earners ahead to the next round with strong leads and locks to make the finals. Don't get me wrong, the 3 were the only ones to score with under rounds on the day, certainly helped. Missy, always a Hufflepuff Gannon, had the best round at 2 under, which tied her atop the leaderboard. Kristen the GOAT Tatar, 2 strokes ahead of crowd favorite, disc golf badass, and super couponer Owen Scoggins. However, after day 1, it saw the advantages of Haley King, Kat Murch, Jessica Weiss, Ella Hansen, and Holly Finley all wipe out their stroke advantages as each put in over rounds. With 5 players within 3 strokes of the cut line, it provided the drama needed on day 2. For most of the players, advancement into the finals would ensure the largest payday of the entire season. So there was plenty on the line for the ladies in the bottom half. And after the day 2 results, the round saw 5 scores below par. Owen scored the hot round 5 under, and with Kristen's 1 under, saw them advance with ease. And even with a 4 over, Missy still advanced easily over the field. Lisa Fakis' 2 under would not be enough, however, as she finished just outside the cut line. Haley King's 4 under after a difficult day 1 advanced her to yet another championship final, making her the 3rd winner of this event to advance. Allie Smith with a 1 under bounce back day 2, and both of them advancing along with Tatar, Owen, and Missy. Jennifer Allen, with no stroke advantages, also found herself actually canceling her flight as she was able to make her way to a $4,000 check and final appearance. Kat Murch, whose outfit choices were more highly discussed than her play, she looked like she rolled out of bed and into the final round in pajama plaid pants. And I know many people want to professionalize the game through player attire optics, so they can go around and show Bill the highlights at the water cooler between TPS reports. Silly this fan base embraces our, quote, quirkiness with self-officiating, different team materials, and baskets. And then be so bothered about untucked shirts and a particular colored rain pants? With only 1 spot remaining in Holland Hanley and Ella Hansen's scores getting to Eagle McMahon dome sniping grenade heights, battle would come down to 2 ladies on the same card. Subsequent fireworks and a heated debate. Jessica Weiss, who looked in control early, went 1 under on the front, looking to secure a spot in the final. She was 1 over after a bogey on 17, in 4th place, needing to just damn near finish as she was 3 strokes ahead of Stacey Ronsley into the difficult final hole. And after an OB throw off the tee, Jessica would go on her way to blow up worse than me after finishing a bag of Double G Garlic Lover's dream. She would go on to OB 3 total times, only to follow that up with a C1 missed putt over a 5 over final score. Stacey, with a bogey of her own, was still able to actually take the final spot of the finals. Obviously, emotions are high at that moment, especially when there's a $4,000 payout on the line. When tallying scores a dispute on the total strokes on the final hole, when Katrina Allen and Jessica came about creating some chirpy dialogue, nearly came to blows. 2 have had a history in the past, and this time people needed to step in. The official scorer had to insert themselves into the situation. Best part, each of them were wrong on the score totals. At least some on the card had the guts to call things out this time, even if you could cut the tensions with a knife. Could you imagine that fight, though? I know what some of you are thinking, and you want to highlight Kat's athleticism and gas tank, but Weiss would absolutely come at her like a spider monkey, wipe the floor with Kat, especially after the results of that hole. But who you got? Comment below. By the way, Do we still think self-governing is displaying our sport in a proper professional light? But anyways, tell me again about how upset you were about Kat's pants. The final started out with the same script we have seen many times already this season, with what looked like another Tatar runaway victory. She would start off 5 under on the front 9, 3 strokes better than the next closest competitor, only for her to not birdie on the back, and would finish 7 over with a triple, a double, and 2 bogeys, dropping her off the lead card and 7 strokes behind Owen, who matched her previous hot round of 5 under with another the following day. Owen was looking sharp, carving the course with Flex Annie after Flex Annie. Kat and Missy would put together the only other under rounds on the day. Kat with a 3 under with 5 birdies, and Missy with a 2 under with 6 birdies on the round also, setting the stage for a final round. Some of the best woods disc golfer the FPO has in Owen and Missy, citing young players Haley and Kat willing to take chances with a Tatarless lead card. Gusty wind conditions jeopardizing Owen's flex game, along with some nerves, it caused for tight play. Owen would not see her first birdie till hole 6 and would finish the front 9 even, where she scored no worse than 2 under on the front for each of her previous days. She went into the back half with a stroke lead and extended it with a birdie on 10. Unfortunately, that would be the last birdie she would see and would go 4 over the next 7 holes. Big time Missy, who was only playing clean golf, would watch her competitor's lead slip away on the difficult track, and by the later holes would have a stranglehold on the round, heading on her way to being the first 2-time championship winner ever. The first win might have been a shock and put her name on the map, but the second puts the field on notice. And with this payday, Missy finished with 95 grand total earnings on the season, only second to Tatar. Kat and Owen would finish tied for second, as each had their highest paydays of their careers to go with a solid season, which both found wins on the year. What most certainly was probably the best celebration on that night. More players covered, and the heart-pounding action that only live can provide, all from the comfort of your home. Now, let's move to some quick hitters. Kyle Klein's second place finish resulted in over 50 grand earnings in a month. Carter Aarons just announced he signed with Lone Star, and he added another young talent to their roster, yet they still have a number of their current players looking for extensions. Speaking of offseason, should be an interesting one, as plenty of names are available. Aaron Gossage, Emerson Keith, James Proctor, Holland Hanley, Katrina Allen, T. Gannon, Haley King, to name a few. Let's not forget Gannon, who is rumored to have a contract with Discmania prior to the lawsuit last year, or Eagle McMahon to cement his legacy. Either way, you're going to hear all about the offseason and signings here. Paul Macbeth announced the birth of his first child, deciding to name his kid after only the greatest athlete in video game history, Pablo Genesis Macbeth. Vinny already on the course at home, looking like he came back from a bender. UDisc's new rating system kicked off with some hot and cold reactions. Course ratings seem to be a nice feature for beginning players to play for. The old heads will always gripe. Just throw some disc, guys. And that wraps up another twig and the 2023 season. It's been one hell of a ride, literally. Thanks for all the support you guys have given on and off the road. The success that this show has found is in large part due to each of you, and it means a ton to me. We got plenty in store for the next season, especially this winter, so if you're not already, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. If you want more, make sure to peek previous episodes.